This is a News 18 special debate. Election news from where you live.
Live this evening from McCutcheon High School for Tippecanoe County Sheriff between the candidates Jason Huber and Bob Goldsmith. I'm Jeff Smith, and our co-moderator this evening is McCutcheon student Daniel Sanson, a senior. This debate is being co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Greater Lafayette and by WLFI TV 18. The candidates have agreed to a set of rules governing the debate. Each candidate will give an opening statement followed by questions from the moderators. Candidates have 2 minutes to respond to each question and a 30-second rebuttal before we move on to the next question. The debate will end with closing statements, and our timers will make sure that we adhere to the agreed times. The candidates have not seen these questions in advance and have agreed not to bring prepared notes for the questions. Now, we ask our audience here at McCutcheon to please remain quiet throughout the debate so that we can concentrate on hearing from the candidates in their own words. A coin toss was held previously to determine who would give the first opening statement, and Mr. Huber, you won that toss, so opening statement.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening. I would like to thank WLFI, the League of Women Voters, and McCutcheon High School for hosting tonight's event, as well as all those here and those watching at home. My name is Jason Huber. I'm a 26-year Tippecanoe County law enforcement and corrections leader. I am unquestionably qualified to run for sheriff. You can read my resume, my bio, my many accomplishments, my background, but that's not why you're hoping I'm running for sheriff. I am running because, like you, I'm a parent, a spouse, a coach, a small business owner, and an active community member. And when I watch what is happening around our great nation, it concerns me. When I see the deterioration of our national sovereignty, the increase in deadly drugs invading our community, our cities becoming crime scenes, lawlessness, and the lack of respect for our fellow man, it concerns me. When I see the disrespect for the rule of law, our Constitution, the erosion of our rights, and the overreach of federal agencies into my fellow citizens' lives, it concerns me. It concerns me that over the last 3+ years, we have watched this erosion of our rights across our land. I feel no assurance or confidence in our current sheriff to know that I will be secure in my rights, my freedom, or the safety of my life or my family's life as his paramount duties in these difficult times. I have no level of confidence that when trouble is brought to the gates of our community or to my door, that he will be there to stand in front of me and safeguard my rights and the personal safety as well as yours. I am that man. I see the danger and challenges, and I will stand to defend you, my fellow citizens, so you don't have to be concerned, but I can't do it alone. I need your vote, and then I need us to stand arm in arm to come together to tackle our most challenging community issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huber. Bob Goldsmith.
All right, good evening. I am Bob Goldsmith, a Democratic candidate and your current sheriff. I began my career in law enforcement in this very department as a jail deputy in 1997. During my continuous 25-year career, I've held many positions throughout the office, and in my first term as your sheriff, I've overseen many positive changes. Naming a few, we've increased our overall training by almost 200%. We've created a social media presence to engage our citizens in a positive way. A lateral transfer program to attract already experienced police officers, a complete upgrade of our office policies and procedures, expanding our team to include 5 female merit deputies working now, the most at any one time in the history of our department. Added 3 school resource officers to increase that number to 5 now serving our schools. Added 1 deputy to a drug task force that when I took over there was none. Increased our K-9 unit from 1 to 7, with 2 of those being permanently assigned to the jail and being handled by jail deputies. Improving diversity on our merit board, we now have the first female merit board person on our merit board ever, and the first person of color ever on our merit board. We now have mental health services, as just a couple months ago, for all of our employees. And through Safer Watch, we're able to offer a panic button to all Tippecanoe School Corporation employees and Tippecanoe County judges. We created a Citizens Academy to educate the public on operations within the Sheriff's Office, and we began medicated assistant treatment available for our inmates. We became only the second jail in the history of Indiana to have a jail-based competency restoration program. We've increased mental health services for jail inmates from just over 20 hours when I took office to now more than 80. Our medical provider created a life skills program for inmates that has drastically reduced recidivism for those that have completed the program. Under my leadership, our team has been able to move our office in a positive directions. Despite the many obstacles we have encountered, we have done this and will continue to do this by working with other agencies within the state, the county, and you citizens. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The first question will go to Bob Goldsmith, and the question for the audience in the auditorium, you can see that projected above you. What are the major issues that you'd like to address over the next 4 years if you're elected, and what is your top priority among those issues?
So the major issue, I want to add to the school resource officer program. I want to continue working with local police departments to address this crime issue, this violent crime. Now, a lot of the stuff that you see in the news and read about every day, it isn't happening in the county's jurisdiction. But I got to be foolish to think that at some point it won't bleed over into the county. So we got to work with our city partners to make sure we stop it, keep it contained, and address those issues. Employee retention. I've gone to bat for us for 4 years trying to get pay raises for folks to keep them in our department. It's difficult, but it's something we have to do. We have to invest in our first responders. We have to invest in those people that are taking care of us and keeping us safe. The top priority, it's the citizens. I want to continue working with the citizens and learning from them. They know what's going on in the community more than we do. I work in it, live in it, born and raised here, but they're out there every day, and having a relationship with them and talking with them is how you get things done, in my opinion. And it's because of those relationships I feel that our department now is in a better place than what it was. Thank you.
Mr. Huber, rebuttal.
Thank you. Mental health, substance use, and tackling our violent crime rates that are skyrocketing are my top priorities. From 2018 through 2020, the Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Office has seen a spike in increase in violent crime, aggravated assault, rape, motor vehicle theft. These are issues that affect every single one of us, whether we live in the city of Lafayette, the city of West Lafayette, Clarks Hill, Stockwell, any number of places within our county. We have to be proactive in the way that we address these. And how do we do that? I will stand up a special operations unit that will comprise of a violent crimes task force, not only within our agency, but I will bring together agencies of Lafayette, West Lafayette, and the state police to collectively come together to address these issues. I've championed mental health and substance use for the last 6 years at Tippecanoe County Community Corrections. We've been state, nation, and national leaders in addressing these issues. These are issues that affect every single one of us. It doesn't matter your color of skin. It knows no race. It knows no socioeconomic barriers. We have to do a better job of addressing these issues and getting a handle on what is happening on our streets every day.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for Jason Huber. Stephen Luce, the executive director of the Indiana Sheriff's Association, says that it is the job of the association and Indiana sheriffs to build communities of trust. What does that mean, and do you think Tippecanoe County is a community of trust?
I absolutely believe it's a community of trust. I think if there's one thing that we do really well together, it's band together for the common good. I've traveled around the state, traveled around our country, given talks about things that we are doing on a daily basis at community corrections. And the one thing I hear is, how do you guys get that done? There's an old adage, we do it the Tippecanoe County way. We all band together, we sit in a room, and we figure out what it is that needs to get done and how we address it. We need to continue this. We need to expand on how we interact with each other, how we see each other's differences, and how we collectively come together to solve our most pressing issues.
Rebuttal?
Well, you want to rebut that, but honestly, I agree with him. I've worked in the same room with him on several matters, and this community does a great job of doing that. As our community grows, well over 200,000 people and continues, we have to keep working on those relationships with our citizens and being open-minded to sit down with groups of people that may not think like we do, may not believe in the same things we do, but we have to sit there and have a partnership with them and have an open dialogue. But, I mean, we've worked together on those things in the past, and we'll continue to do so. So I can't disagree with anything he said.
Okay, the question is for Bob Goldsmith. How do you see the Sheriff's Department changing to meet the needs of a growing Tippecanoe County?
Well, when you meet the needs, we've got to increase our manpower. We have not grown in relationship to the county we serve. And on top of that, our department isn't as diverse. It's not reflective of the citizens that we serve. So we have to go out and we have to make those connections with people. We have to draw those people to us. We can't force them to fill out an application, but we have to be the ones to go make those connections and have a conversation with them to figure out how to draw them in. And I'm doing that. There's a gentleman, unfortunately, he coached IU football, but we're not going to hold that against him. But he's helping me with that, to look at our hiring process, not to change it, because we can't change it. We're not going to lower our standards, but what are we doing in our process that may keep us from having a more diverse applicant pool? So those are the things that we need to do.
Mr. Huber?
We have to be diverse. There's nobody in this room, there's nobody in our community that doesn't want us to be a representative of the people that we serve. But in order to do that, it's going to take all of us. It's going to take us as a department to relook at the way that we recruit and the way that we attract people into our agencies. We never want to sacrifice the high standards in which we hold our personnel to. But in order to do that, we have to do it as a community. It's not just the sheriff's department. We have to have buy-in from our minority community that says it's okay to want to be a part of the law enforcement system. We have to break that stigma that's associated with law enforcement and public safety within the minorities communities. We have to engage our youth from a young age, from middle school, elementary, and into high school, to be able to make this an attractive and the noble profession that it absolutely is.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for Jason Hubert. It's question number 4 for the folks who are running the projector. Anthony Perez is charged with the murder of Casey Lewis in a Lafayette Walmart parking lot after escaping just days earlier from community corrections. What role does the Sheriff's Department have in working with community corrections to apprehend escaped prisoners, and how well do you think that this worked in the case of Mr. Perez?
Well, we're two separate entities, right? Community corrections and the sheriff's office are two completely separate entities. I report to the commissioners and an advisory board. Our job is to have supervision, either in work release, home detention, or day reporting for our participants that we serve. We work collectively in the event that we have an escaped participant. Our job stops at the point that we report that to the sheriff's office through the form of requesting a warrant. Our responsibility ends at that stage. We obviously would help every law enforcement agency in an attempt to track down anybody that's escaped from us, but our responsibility ends with that escape.
Mr. Goldsmith, rebuttal.
Yeah, it's not going to be long enough. Anyway, there's a law that went into effect in July. They're required to report to local law enforcement, and then local law enforcement is required to go out within an hour and try to make apprehension. Is local law enforcement the sheriff's office? Is it where the incident occurred? Where is it the bracelet's cut? It's kind of foggy. I think common sense tells me I am going to contact the agency where that person cut their bracelet, last place they were seen to be working. In this instance, and everyone in the 31 since the beginning of July and the over 300 in the last 4 years that have walked away or escaped, there is a report filed with us, but that report is having us enter a temporary hold. That's it. There isn't a report that goes through our office. We don't turn the report into the prosecutor. That's it. Now, if they ask for our help, we will never say no. We're always going to be there for community corrections or anybody else.
Okay, we're going to take a short intermission at this point. When we come back from that intermission, Daniel Sensen will be asking questions.